universe to Tom and Mark Off the Rails, episode 12, our first ever 12th episode.
I think I'm supposed to say something, but I don't know what it is.
There it is. Where are we?
We are coming to you pre-recorded from Highland Tower Studios in beautiful Cedarburg, Wisconsin.
And I've been waiting for this podcast for a while. We got two awesome guests in with us. We have Travis Cody Fisher.
I went first. It's me.
There you go. And Autumn Pritz Fisher.
Hello. I'm really just Autumn Fisher.
Autumn Fisher?
Yeah. I just put Pritz on my Facebook so that people know, hey, that's that Autumn Pritz person.
Okay. So people can find you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about
you.
what you guys do before we get into this.
We are a husband and wife.
Hey!
And
so we do each other.
we do
high
each
five.
other. Yeah, that's right. That's about it. So
No, you.
What do you do? Autumn.
I am a radio personality,
There you go.
impressionist.
Yes.
Ooh.
I love your Jewish wife
She
impression.
pretends to be a
Oh my
radio
God.
personality.
That one kills me every
Really?
time.
I don't
That
even know
one-
that one. Do I do that like this? Oh,
Yeah.
God, I do?
Yeah, that one gets me.
Oh, my God. Thank you. And yeah, so we have a show called The Von Hessler Doctrine. It's Monday through Friday, 9 to 11. And then we have, 9 to 11. And then we have a podcast hour that we do separately right after that from 11 to 12 that you can catch on our Facebook page, The Von Hessler Doctrine.
We will have all that up
Oh, okay.
because I'm telling her to do it.
Do it. Her is Molly. And then, yeah, I guess that's what is that what I do?
That's what you do.
Aren't you
Yeah.
a linguist too?
I mean, yes. I mean, so I went to school.
Yeah, but fuck that.
Well, I mean,
Well,
listen, if you were a carpenter
I
and
was
you
a
built houses and you don't do that anymore, are you still a carpenter if you fall in
I
the woods in 1
bartended
year?
10 years ago. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess I could be a bartender still. but-
Okay.
I am still very interested in linguistics. So a lot of linguistic things that come up or like, a
Well,
Facebook video that may appear.
Just
randomly.
fucks all my questions that I get.
No, I'm into it. I
Okay.
love it. I still very much am into it. I just don't do it.
Yeah,
anymore.
this page right here, a question, should just be a dick pointed at me now.
Oh.
'Cause I'm getting fucked by it.
No, okay. Do you want me to think? I am a radio person and a linguist.
All right.
Back to you, Tom.
Trav,
Yeah.
what do you do? You do something cool.
I guess I'm an astronomer, which is pretty cool. I still don't even like telling people that.
Come on.
Because it's like, oh, he's an astronomer. That guy is super savvy and smart. I even work at NASA, and that sounds even more smart. And I'm just a guy that likes looking at galaxies and stuff like that. And so I get to do it every day, which is a lot of fun. But I'm also, I hate telling people that so I saw somebody, we're in our hometown right now, and so I was at Walmart today, and I saw somebody I knew, but I was like, I'm not going to go talk to that person.
Oh, I get
Well,
that too.
Because what do you do? Well, I'm an astronomer that works at NASA. What do you do? I'm still in this town.
I'm a bartender.
I'm
a carpenter.
He's like, me too.
Yeah.
I'm a bartender.
I was a bartender 10 years ago, too.
Yeah.
So, it's just real weird. I mean,
Okay.
but yes, I'm an astronomer at NASA, and gosh, it's a lot of fun.
You should just really wear it like a badge and just be like, and I hate to say it, but lean into it. Like, hey, I'm an astronomer.
That's right.
No,
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
I know where Trav is coming from because when
Yeah.
I tell people I'm a PT student, everybody is like, well, I got this tricky knee. What do you think I should do for it?
Oh, of course.
Lose 100 pounds and go see a real doctor.
Yeah, you can't really tell them. You're like,
Yeah.
well, your weight problem might
You're an
be
astronomer. I
Yeah.
have this galaxy. I just can't identify these gases.
Yeah. I got this trick galaxy.
Yeah. I'm getting all sorts of weird emission lines, and I'm not really sure if it's an AGN or if it's a star forming region. I got just a thing for you. There's a diagram we can go look at.
Well, that's the thing with your job is that people imagine you like it's a romanticized idea of what an astronomer does, like in the dark, looking at a telescope, writing things down on a chart with a pencil, and
Yeah.
like no, it's not like that at all. You stare at like dots on a screen and try and like figure out some sort of like line that goes through it, and that means something. Like I don't know what it means.
Sure. I haven't used a telescope in 4 years, probably.
But
And
you
that
did
was-
use the Hubble.
I ask the Hubble. You put in a
Dear Hubble.
Yeah.
Hubble.
I never thought this would happen
Yeah.
to me.
I would like for you to look at this object for 45 minutes, please. And then you send it off to like some mission control center, and then they're like, beep, boop, beep. Today we look at this target, and then they send the data to you. but you don't get to touch anything. So
Okay.
I
No
went.
touching.
That's right. So
Hands off. There's like a big bouncer at the strip club
That's right.
next to the Hubble telescope.
His arms folded, black short
Hey,
sleeve
hands
tee.
to yourself, man. Hands
Yeah.
off.
Oh, it's so shiny. He's huge. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. It's amazing. Oh wow.
You want to touch it?
Look
Yeah.
at that resolution.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh geez.
All right. Well, I did a little Encyclopedia Brown investigating about this shit that's going on in West Bend that pissed
Damn.
me off.
I think you mean Nancy Brown.
Yes. Okay. So we have a story that they are opening up bow hunting in the city parks of West Bend now.
How many deer are there inside City Park in West Bend?
That's what I'm thinking. They're giving out 40 tags to. They're
Are there
giving
exactly 40 deer?
I guess they're giving out. They're called nuisance tags.
This is the most Wisconsin part of the podcast I think I've ever heard.
Oh,
in
yeah.
my life.
Yeah, we can just hunt in the parks. So I was following this story months ago, and it's like Alderman Bushlick came up with this idea, and Alderman Kinst. And then
we
they
discussed not mentioning names as to not earn the wrath of
well,
people.
they're all. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get pulled over driving
Uh-oh.
through West Bend every time now. Well, what they said was we're gonna open up. 8 hunters are gonna be allowed to do it. Here are the 8 hunters
Pre-selected.
pre-selected.
How were they
and-
chosen? They were like a hunter.
Well,
It's from a ping pong ball, and like they are the chosen like in
yeah, like bingo.
no like
It was kind of weird because you got Alderman Bushlick, and all of a sudden one of the hunters is a Bushlick, and one of the hunters is a Kist. So they were already chosen.
Nepotism.
I figured it was like Hunger Games.
Well, now they're doing a Hunger Games type thing. That's what's pissing me off, is because they're now opening up 9 spots.
Mhm.
So you have to go to the city hall. You have to pay $10 to take a bow hunting efficiency course, where they literally take you to like a bow range, and you have to hit 4 out of 5 targets
Fun.
on this.
Because they're letting you take home 4 deer, right?
No, they're not letting you take home any deer.
But there's 40 tags. Okay, go on.
Then you have to pay $30 to be in a lottery to maybe get the chance to hunt, even though they have all the hunters already picked out. And then you don't get to keep the deer. You have to pay for processing, and it is donated to food pantries. So literally, it's just a murder fest.
It sounds like one of those movies where they have all the they hire all the assassins to kill this one person, and then you have all these cool stereotypes. Like one is like a ninja,
Yeah.
and one,
Yeah.
like one is an old timey gangster like assassin or something. And so I would imagine all these different bow hunters like of different
Sure.
styles coming in trying to kill all these deer, and like one pulls back and another one kills like with 3 arrows, and then like
It was all Legolas on.
Yeah, dang it, Legolas.
Why is this a thing? Why?
They're claiming it's a nuisance problem in West Bend now. We have too many deer running through the city, which, why are you irritated? You're looking out and seeing a pretty deer. Who cares?
It's goddamn beautiful is what it
You're
is.
doing 25 miles an hour through the city. Why are we opening it up? And I think they're banking on 1,500 people applying for this.
For this
At
one available
$40 a
spot.
piece
Wow.
for one spot that
Well-
might be available.
I mean, so the idea of hunting in a park is
Yes.
it's like a very beautiful idea, right? Like that's the most pristine place to do your hunting. So
I
you're
think
not-
hunting on a golf course would be the best place
that
to
would be
hunt.
real. Yeah, I mean that would be awesome. So it's like you get a chance to play at Pebble Beach or something, right? This is like the one chance that you're ever going to get to hunt in this pristine, amazing area
For 4 days.
For
It's
4
a
days.
4 days.
So I don't know anything about hunting, but it seems like you don't want. I mean, are you looking for that experience, like a nice, clean experience where you're out in the open and walking on like a
Well,
I just
paved
want
It's
Friday
funny.
meat.
It's funny that you say
With the
clean
meat.
experience, because all of a sudden Mountain Outfitters is giving 150 sets of snowshoes to these hunters.
These 9 hunters.
What is your conspiracy? So you have some idea about what this means?
It means that it's just a money grab.
Okay,
That's
Sure.
all it is.
They're like, oh man, the
they're making
coffers are
like
empty.
$50 off of, right? Because it was 40 because it was 30.
$40 for, they're guessing 1,500 people are going
Right.
to apply for this.
Woo!
Yeah.
So they're making some big money on it. And I just think, well, you already released, did everybody forget about the first article when you named the hunters? And now you added one more spot and you're going through this whole charade.
I
You're
think
going
we
on
should
safari.
protest.
It's a safari.
It's bullshit.
Take your entourage
You
hunting.
have to
That's
score. Well, another thing is you have to take this bow hunting proficiency test, and you have to score 100% on it. But hunters like Molly and I already passed hunter safety and the state says we're proficient enough, why is the county overruling the state?
Money.
Well,
Money?
I would think it is also like we don't want any bad press on this. Like
That's
if we
true.
let Molly or Tom in there and Tom let one loose and it
Tom
went
shoots the
over the
alderman's
park,
nephew.
past the park.
Just
Nails a
launching
dog.
it like
Yeah.
Orion.
Yeah, and so now
Like,
you
who
gotta-
gave them permission to do this?
That's
Oh,
right.
why didn't they pass a proficiency test?
That's right.
But they did. Hunter safety course.
I
Right?
don't know, man.
They said I'm okay enough to shoot with a gun, but I'm too stupid to shoot with a bow. Like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense to me. And
Yeah.
they already got the hunters picked out anyway, so don't go waste your money doing this proficiency test and paying for a lottery.
Sure. I think you're right. I mean, the chances of you getting in there are very slim. And I think that the money is probably going to go towards something that is going to maybe help the community. And so maybe that was the idea. It's like,
Yeah, where's the money actually going?
yeah.
Fucking charity.
Ugh.
All right.
So it's basically they're expecting 15,000 applicants. to pay
1,500.
1,500.
Wow. To pay $40 to apply for one spot.
Pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
I feel like this is an idea that would come from like an episode of Parks and Rec where
Uh-huh.
Leslie Knope needs some money to pay for
Yep.
something. And they're like, let's let
Oh,
them-
but then the other thing is that like the hunters are mad about something, and so she has to bring them together and say
Right.
like, okay, well, I can fix this one problem with this other problem.
Yeah.
Letting the hunters hunt in my park.
That's right.
Well, I guarantee you there are not 40 deer running around the city of West Bend right now. Because if you see 8 deer a day, you're seeing the same 8 deer every day. So,
Weird. I don't understand hunting.
no?
No.
What don't you understand?
Well, because even just now you were like, oh, God forbid you see a beautiful deer outside your door. And then you're like, yeah, let's go shoot it. You know what? If I was coming up on it in the woods, I'd fucking shoot it. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand that
Makes me
logic.
proud to be an American.
Like, I understand, like, okay, I kind of understand going in the woods and, like, waiting quietly. And you've gotten up and you're very excited to shoot a deer.
Yes.
And then, oh my God, there it is. Oh my God. Okay, I can see it.
It's not close enough. You have to wait. Oh my God.
Oh,
You
I
have to
can't wait
for it to come a little
It's
closer.
turning around. What should I do?
I can't do anything.
Oh, I
You
gotta
have to
pee
wait.
so bad. I gotta pee.
All right, so we're back.
Like I can't, and then getting it, and then feeling excited. But on the other side is like, oh no, I killed it. You know what I mean? I don't understand that part.
There was a meal I made last year, and I felt like the most beat my chest, manliest man ever because I went out, I found mushrooms, I collected fiddleheads,
What are
I
fiddleheads?
killed the deer. They're baby
They're
ferns.
baby ferns. They're delicious, by the way.
There
They're
is nothing
awesome.
more manly than collecting baby ferns for like a light salad
Fuck that fern in the ass,
with
man.
some fun mushrooms. Like, oh man,
I made a very manly
Well, it
vinaigrette.
just felt like the marsh gave us the entire meal.
Oh,
like I
that's
collected
beautiful.
it.
And then you sauteed it in Bambi tears.
Yeah.
No, see, I'm not going there. I mean, that's the way that people are against hunting, like fucking Bambi. Like, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But you also, it's like you feel like it's a very beautiful thing, but then it's also a fun thing to kill, right?
Yes.
Which is weird.
I don't hunt, but I get the appeal.
Yeah, when you hold their head under the water and you get that last bubble to pop up when they drown.
So you just hunt with a bucket?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's just beautiful. Oh, there's the last bubble coming up, you fucker.
Ooh, you're fucking
Oh, I have such a hard on right now.
I'm going to mount this deer right here.
Yeah, as
Oh,
I'm stepping
yeah.
on a deer's head, an eagle perches
Yes.
on my cock.
Wow.
Like, so American.
diamond rock hard.
American flag
Yes.
waving behind you.
All right, so
What else do you kill?
pheasant,
Pheasant.
squirrel.
Squirrel?
We
What
eat
for?
squirrel.
You eat it?
It's really good.
All right.
You ever
What
played
else?
Oregon Trail?
Well, yeah. Those are really.
You don't eat a. You're not proud to eat a squirrel on Oregon Trail. You're like, I couldn't hit shit, and I
Yeah,
got
but
a
it
squirrel,
sucks.
and I'm bringing back 1 pound
But
of
it
meat.
sucks on
And you can
Oregon
hit a
Trail
bison.
because when you hit a bison, you can't even carry it. It's like
No, I carried
you
40
killed
pounds of
5.
meat back.
Yeah, you can only carry 40 pounds. You're like, fuck, I gotta feed this.
They should
3
scold
kids.
you for killing 3 or 4 bison.
It's the
other than
American
Yeah.
way to
telling
leave
you.
meat in the field.
Yeah, you're
That's
trying to
when
starve
if you
out the
kill
natives.
like 4 bison in Oregon Trail and you only bring back 40 pounds of meat, then a Native American needs to come and like shoot up your wagon.
No, it's just no a tear. Just
a tear. Yeah,
Just a single tear.
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
game shows a crime.
That's about
made.
littering.
yeah. they
All
are
right.
littering.
I guess you are
Corpses of
littering.
buffalo.
Yeah, but that's not littering to the Native Americans. The Native Americans, that's like wasting precious
Sure.
life force blood. I don't know.
So why can the natives hunt and I can't?
The natives, first of all, I'm triggered by you saying that.
Okay.
Second,
Well, yeah, it's like they can do whaling. Native Americans in Alaska can go whaling for whatever they want,
And we can't.
and what the white man can't.
Oh, always bringing down the white man.
the white nationalist. I knew it. No,
Bitch, I need my whale meat.
I'm Polish
think-
Catholic.
I think that's different because when you're talking about Native Americans who did that, they were doing that to live, and like they used every part of the buffalo.
Yeah, but now, like the whales, for example, are endangered.
Yeah, aren't they also using it to like?
Well, yeah, they're using every part of it.
Yeah.
but
If you
there's-
sign up for an auction, you can hunt whales in West Bend parks right now.
With a
You just
crossbow.
gotta get drafted. Yeah, you gotta pay $40 and you can kill all the whales you want right there.
Oh, awesome, dude. Got an awesome whale. I can't do it, Wisconsin.
Oh, jeez.
You don't have a Wisconsin accent?
Not really. I can say bag.
Bag?
You want a bag?
Milk?
People ask you if they want meat, a bag. Huh?
Milk?
What do you say?
Milk.
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 I don't
What are you saying? Wisconsin accent
Some
has
people say
milk?
milk.
Milk.
That's not. I don't think that's Wisconsin. I think that's just weird.
Okay.
Milk. Right?
Well, linguist,
Yeah.
we're on the border of two different accents because we're the
Oh.
like that Minnesotan accent, but we're also the Great Lakes accent.
yeah.
Literally, like the line goes through like Ozaukee County. So you go like a couple of miles north, and you're gonna get, oh yeah, geez, don't you
Oh.
know? You go the other way, and it's just like people in Buffalo, New York.
No.
Maybe not Buffalo, but like the Great Lakes accent, that generic TV
Yeah,
accent you see on like
popcorn.
CNN.
I call it the
Yeah.
fucking A accent.
Fucking A?
Fucking A.
Buck door. Oh, I shot a buck in a door.
Fucking A right.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's big. Okay, well, that's my current event. We got
Bam, bam, bam. Wisconsin.
I was looking up for local events, but Christmas has just taken over so much. I've been looking
so
shit up
rude.
since the beginning of November. I really can't find any new
What's
shit.
going on this week? Christmas.
Fucking
Fucking
Christmas.
Christmas garbage. Jesus.
Got to hear all those puke songs.
Whoa. These songs are awesome.
Which one is awesome? Which one do you headbang to?
Headbang.
Jun, 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 jun,
It's
jun,
cold
jun, jun,
outside.
jun, jun.
That Vince Guaraldi trio for the Charlie
Yes.
Brown. I hate the Charlie Brown special itself. It's very grating, but the album from Vince Guaraldi trio is amazing,
Mhm.
and I'll have that on repeat every day. It's so smooth. And I just turned into Andy Williams. He's like the bright, like super chipper Christmas music, which is really great. So those two would be okay. But then there's like Christmas shoes, fucking
Oh,
Christmas
the
shoes.
Oh,
best.
that's horrible.
Or,
Oh, but it's the best.
His mom is dying
and
of cancer.
I am so
Yeah.
done with Mariah Carey.
Yes,
For
agreed.
my mama, please.
Yeah.
We just learned on Christmas Facts that's like the top selling Christmas
Number
song
one
right now.
Which
song.
one?
Mariah Carey from
Well,
the
of course,
90s.
it's been the
Oh.
number one Christmas song for the
It's
last
a great. I
10
mean, that's
years.
a great song.
But
I don't
It's
wanna
okay.
love for Christmas.
it's okay. It's amazing. But Mariah Carey as
But
a person is real lame, and so
Yes.
I'm like, I don't.
Yeah,
wanna,
Russell Crowe is a real jerk, but everyone still likes. I don't know his.
I
movie
don't.
where
I don't
he's
know
a
any of his
captain.
Christmas songs.
Master and Commander.
Master and Commander,
Like, yeah. so-
whatever else he was
You're
in.
just on Team Nick
Man,
Cannon,
it
right?
felt so good watching Mariah Carey like burn down on New Year's Eve last year. It was just where she like couldn't sing,
Yeah.
and the music
Yeah.
wasn't
Oh,
playing
that
for
was
her,
the
and
best.
she was just like, "I'm gonna flop around."
You sing,
and-
audience, you sing.
Yeah. Oh man, that was so good.
And
But,
she was so pissed.
yeah. So like her career was like the last thing to die in 2016, the horrible year that took everyone's lives. Like,
Yeah.
She is probably living off of the royalties of that 10-year-old, 20-year-old
yeah,
Christmas
all
song.
she does
Oh,
is just wait for
100%.
Christmas. So yeah.
Oh my God, if I could get her pregnant.
Holy night.
I'd just be set for life.
Get her pregnant.
Just want to knock her up. Like, yep. If I have sex with Mariah Carey, I am forgetting the condom.
Wait, why would you get money for that?
I'd be a stay-at-home dad.
Trophy
she-
husband?
Trophy
Is
husband.
she marrying you?
She just got divorced,
No,
right?
I'm
don't have to get her
still getting
pregnant.
child
Yeah.
support, right? 17% of
So you're
that.
gonna
Oh,
raise
you're
the child?
getting the kid?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Let me.
Tom from
we-
Wisconsin's getting
So-
the kid.
yeah. So
Don't
it's
give
off
the
the
kid to
record.
Mariah Carey. You don't make any sense. You need to think this through before you get Mariah Carey pregnant.
Listen, step 1, get her pregnant.
Step 3,
Step
profit.
3, profit. Step 2, we're working on.
Whatever's in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And profiting is getting the kid, right? That's obviously profiting. Is your
Oh man, I don't like this plan anymore. What's next on your
Let's
list?
teach them how to deer hunt.
you start talking about kids? Autumn's gonna get weepy real quick.
Oh,
Has everyone
no.
watched Guardians 2?
Yes.
Guardian. So
Yes.
like there where his father is coming back and has wrapped everyone down with his magic tentacles
Spoiler
or whatever.
alert. Spoiler alert.
Yep, there's spoilers, y'all. And so Star-Lord's dad has come back with a vengeance, and he's wrapping everyone in tentacles, and Baby Groot is in like that tunnel, and he's getting crushed. See, look at this. And so Baby Groot's like crying, and she's like, "Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. You can't do that." I'm like,
That's
"It's
true.
a computer animated tree."
Yeah, but he looks at and everything that he did was, to me, Pete was our little 10-month-old. I was like, oh, he's so cute like Pete. Like, he kept
Right.
reminding me of Pete.
Yes. So the point
And
is,
then they
you
were
bring in
crushing Pete.
any kids, any sort of like children being attacked, and she's like, "That's not fair. Turn this off. This is garbage."
Well,
And
okay,
it's
the
like,
last time I was like that, I was very pregnant, or I had just had Pete. Because I think we were watching Game of Thrones, and I was very pregnant, and some more spoil. I don't know if you can still spoil Game of Thrones, but they were tossing that newborn baby into like the dogs. Ramsay was doing that.
Oh yeah, Ramsay
And I was
Bolton.
like, no, fuck you. I'm not watching this anymore. This is bullshit. I can't do it. And so
It was real tough.
I couldn't. I was like so mad. I like left the room. I went into throwing myself on the bed very dramatically,
Yeah.
crying because I couldn't handle that newborn baby. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was a problem. Listen, we're ladies and we're hormonal.
Just keep it in the bubble anytime we talk about it from now on, even though whatever. She's going to be like, "No, next question.
Well,
Let's talk about something else, please."
No, I'm not as tearful as I used to be because
No, but
my
it's-
hormones have
Absolutely,
become
you're
more
right.
balanced. However, it is bullshit in TV and movies when they throw a kid into the mix just to like elevate the story into an emotional space. You can put a child in a movie and in a show and have them in trouble without it being like, this is the only purpose is to get you emotionally invested.
Well, there goes my question on child rearing in ancient
Son
Sparta.
of a bitch, I gotta get rid of this now. Nothing
Do
to
you
ask.
agree? It's ridiculous.
I don't,
Like,
There's a lot
Walking
of
Dead.
pandering.
Do
in
you
Game of
agree, or do you
Thrones.
like it when children get tortured in television?
do you agree with me or are you wrong?
I'm just trying to say that it's annoying and I don't like it.
Okay.
It's the same the reason why people think like violence in movies is gratuitous just to get you emotionally invested. If we have a scene where two people are arguing, maybe I'm not going to be as tense as if someone has like a gun pointed at the other person, you know what I mean? And maybe the gun isn't necessary and maybe the dialogue needs to be better. Like some people talk about that with
The violence
What's
needs
his
to be in service of the story.
Yes.
If it's just there for no reason, that is pointless.
but some people can't tell. Like they can't they just like, oh, I feel it and now I'm interested instead of like trying to be a more present in your life person and say like, why is that gun necessary? Is that violence necessary? That's what I'm saying.
Well, maybe sometimes people just don't think about it.
Yeah, which is probably better, and you live a more happy life because
Yeah.
you're like, duh, it's fun.
It's good. I like
That guy got beat up.
I came to this movie not to think any thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't make me think my own thoughts
I
in this
don't want to
movie.
think
He
thoughts.
punched a kid. I was happy when he died.
Yeah, the end. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
You want to hate that character? Make him hurt a kid. Is
you
that
wouldn't
all
have
we
liked
need?
the Great Santini movie then.
What's that?
Oh, that's well, you know the Great Santini.
No, but I was just waiting for you to describe it.
Oh, it's just an abusive, drunken war hero stepdad just beating on a kid all the whole movie.
I know what we're reviewing next.
Yep, the Great Santini.
Oh man.
Comedy of the year. All right, should we do some interview here?
Sure.
We got 2 people to interview. This is going to be cool. Autumn,
Yeah.
let's start with you. Ladies
Okay.
first. How often do you beat your children? No.
I mean, when they deserve it,
Okay.
and when it is just to elicit an emotional response. Then
Yeah,
it's
in
fucking,
case somebody's looking.
slap.
I don't hit them alone. I want to make sure somebody sees this
I
shit.
only
Yes.
do it publicly.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to know, what type of language do you speak?
What type of
Languages.
language?
Type of language.
What type of language?
like
What type of language do
fuckerball?
you
The
speak?
communication type, the one where we
What
talk.
type of language you
Language.
speak? In English, I speak English.
Okay.
I speak English. I speak a little Spanish, only solo en presente.
Okay.
Porque en pasado o futuro es muy difícil porque necesito what's it called when you change a verb to different
Conjugate.
conjugate? Yep, you got to conjugate verbs. I can't do it. Don't know it. Get out of
Okay.
here.
Sign language.
A little bit of signing. The signing though, I didn't. So I took a lot of signing. I was gonna go on to like the next step after you've taken all the classes and like start getting into like an interpreting program. But I think we got pregnant or we were moving.
You got a turd in your pocket?
Yes.
So you were a teacher. You were a teacher that's taught English as a
that's
second
later.
language.
So okay. So then okay. So I taught English as a second language.
Okay.
To many different types of people.
All right.
Some were illegal.
So I kind of brought this up a little bit, but when I went to college, there was always a signer next to the professor. Do you think that is distracting for other people?
So you had a deaf person in the class?
Yes. But now imagine we're in anatomy class.
But fuck that deaf guy.
Fuck that deaf guy. I can say it. He ain't going to hear me.
Ooh, shit.
No,
Wait, don't sign that. Stop.
No, imagine you're in anatomy class and the professor says, sloughing off the vaginal wall.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking right at this.
Cameras come out.
sign.
Well, I'm
Is it like
interested. I would be very interested to see what it is.
Yeah, everybody's head
Autumn
goes right
signed
to
like
the-
abortion, everybody.
I did sign abortion.
Yeah,
That is
Autumn
the
just
word
signed
for
it.
abortion.
Yeah, Autumn just signed that.
Everybody, if you want to do abortion, you put your... I don't know.
You get yourself a coat hanger and a shop vac.
Oh,
No,
boy.
come on.
Very
Your
intricate
baby's too
sign
little.
language.
Okay.
I'm
Do
going
I
to tell you how abortion's done right.
do I think it's distracting? Probably, but does that mean it shouldn't be done?
No. We had, in one of my biology classes, we had a student who was deaf, but he was very into the class, so he was asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird when somebody calls on someone and then they do the sign language,
Yeah.
and then the professor has to get it interpreted, and then he has to talk to the
I
interpreter.
feel like
and
that
it
would be
comes back.
weird the first 3 times that it happens.
But
and
he
then
was
be
like one of
oh.
those, I'm in, hand raised,
Yeah.
calling me.
Good. Isn't that
He was
okay?
he was very good, but
Yeah.
it was kind of weird. Like, I don't know, it was I kind of was distracted. I was more distracted in anatomy than I was in biology.
There was a deaf kid in my class when I was in middle school, so there were always interpreters around, and I just sort of phased it out.
That's what I
Didn't
mean.
think
Like you
about
just
it.
get used
Yeah.
to it. Yeah. Well, I think we determined you're an asshole. So next question.
God damn it. You can interpret that in sign language and send it to me, a video. Okay.
So how much of signing is vocabulary and how much is you literally spelling things out?
Not a lot of spelling things out.
Okay.
Names are spelled out. If you're having trouble understanding what the sign is, then you can spell it out. But
And you make a really like duh face while you're saying it.
yeah,
Like,
like
C-A-T, cat. I'm making a cat sign.
But it used to. So there's like a whole history of deaf culture where before American Sign Language was taught to kids, they didn't want them to learn their own language. They didn't want them to have their own language because they thought it would be like a deficit in their lives to not be able to quote like speak English.
Mhm.
So a lot of the deaf kids were forced to go to these schools where the teachers would, because not every person that is deaf is like 100% cannot hear anything, right? So
Mhm.
like they would cover up their mouths and try and get the person to understand what they were saying so that they could, like they were almost like making it harder for them so that they could survive in a hearing world.
Tough love.
Yeah. Which in some ways is good because people can survive in a world that is not made for them. But in another way, it's like it sucks. Yeah, I don't know what the question was now.
I just asked about spelling things out.
Yeah. So so it used to be that a lot of people before they would learn American Sign Language, they would spell everything out, and it was really annoying, and everybody hated it.
Is there only one sign language? Is there like a Chinese sign language and an English sign language?
There's European Sign
Ooh,
Language.
there's a
There's
British English
Australian.
Sign
There's
language.
British.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of
There's
different
no
ones.
like Esperanto sign language that
No,
everyone
Esperanto
knows?
doesn't exist. I
Oh,
mean, it exists.
theoretically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Esperanto? Yeah, Esperanto
Esperanto.
is like a universal language.
Yeah. They put everything in a jar, shake it up, and make it a language.
Yeah.
Where did we learn? So, like, I think we learned the big differences between British and American Sign Language because there was like sexual things about like being gay or
Yeah.
Or spotted dick.
Two hands is a lot of things. So a lot of American Sign Language can be done with one hand, but a lot of British like alphabets and stuff have
Oh.
two-handed
I think we just learned a lot of.
letters.
I remember
they're
learning a lot of
hand-shaming
slang.
Captain Hook.
Yeah, Captain Hook, he can only sign,
American.
R.
Yar.
Yeah. Signing is really interesting. It's
All right.
really, really cool, especially when you go through the vocabulary, the interpreting and the signing out like a conversation gets real complicated because interpreting is different than translating, right? Like translating is just directly saying exactly what they're saying, but that's not interpret. You know what I mean? Like there's subtlety and meaning and things that people saying, and so you have to interpret those things, and that's where it gets real tricky. But when you find out vocabulary, like you maybe experience in your anatomy class, it's really interesting to see, oh, that sign totally makes sense for that word, like the word abortion. Look it up. People.
Well, don't just Google abortion.
Google ASL. I'm sorry. ASL abortion.
All right.
Sign for abortion, and it's interesting. Like, it doesn't
Or
have
bullshit. Bullshit is another one.
I forget what it is though.
I mean, you make like a bull with one hand.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have your other hand by his butt being like explosive pooping. And
yeah,
that's bullshit.
it's fun. It's really fun.
Oh,
Is pasteurized milk
it's
really?
metal poop.
This is not
No,
pasteurized
that's
milk.
not it. No.
Yeah, that's just a joke. Okay.
Pasteurized
Because you have this is so if you squeeze your hand, that's milk. But if you squeeze it going by your face, it's pasteurized milk.
Oh.
Get it?
Yeah.
Oh, so dumb.
Got it.
So there aren't sign language puns.
Well, that would be a
That'd be
sound
That's
funny.
about it.
yeah.
And all deaf people are like, oh god, that's such a dumb
Yeah.
joke. I see that all the time.
yeah. All right. Tell us a little bit about the podcast you're on.
Yeah, well, it's mostly, I would say, a radio show now because
Okay.
it's 2 hours of like a real radio, you know, commercials and
Terrestrial
and,
over the air.
Yes.
Not bullshit like our
Not
show,
bullshit
right?
radio.
Yeah.
But even though our podcast hour is only 1 hour, it is a very popular part of our show because on the radio, it's under, you know, WSB, which is an AM station. It has an FM signal, but it started out as only an AM station. It's news, talk, weather, traffic. And it's, you know, very right-leaning, older crowd.
Okay.
And now that the younger crowd is getting older and also continuing to listen to WSB, their sort of, I don't know, taste for radio is changing. And that's where we kind of come in, I think, is where, you know, people don't want to just hear Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and, you know, all these people say the same things over and over and over and be real angry, you know,
Yeah.
about everything, especially politics and everything that's happening. I mean, people say that they're one side of what's happening and then they just like press the gas. You know what I mean? Like they just keep going with that opinion. They don't waver from it. There's no subtlety. And that's we don't do that, you know?
Okay.
We talk about what Donald Trump is doing based on policy and based on our opinions of what he's doing, not based on what our politics are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a really great part of the radio. But then the podcast is where we can kind of relax a little bit, where we can we don't curse because it's still under the like aegis of WSB, but it's still
I thought I heard you guys swearing on some old ones.
the old ones we do. Before we were part of WSB, outside of like our, so we used to just be 1 day a week, and then we would still do a podcast during the week, I think.
Okay.
And we would, I think we were
That was
starting
under
to
the Von Hessler show, or the Eric
Yeah.
Von Hessler show,
Okay.
not the Doctrine umbrella that they're a part of right now.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's
Okay.
old episodes of like called The Morning Show, which was ours, and just The Show, because Eric loved to change the name,
Okay.
which I thought was a very good idea.
So no swearing on your show.
Not anymore. Mm-mm.
Not anymore.
Yeah. And
Is
we
that
can't.
hard?
No. Because
Fuck,
I'm
shit,
fucking
balls.
professional as shit. No, it's not so bad. It's really not. I mean,
Okay.
you're just used to it.
Say a lot of oh gosh darns.
No, you don't do anything. It's like
Oh sweet sassy molassy.
we say like, you know, S.
Oh.
You know, scared the S out of you, or we don't even go there, which is kind of more interesting in a way. I mean, I like to curse, and I like the freedom to curse. Like I'm on another podcast called Radio Labyrinth, which is a really great, you know, pop culture podcast, and we curse a lot on there, and that's really fun. And we say all kinds of gross things, and we are allowed to go there because that's not under WSB. That's just a separate podcast. But not being able to swear really does kind of, I don't know. It's like an exercise
It's
creativity.
a focus. You have to
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah. So it's not so bad not to curse. But yeah.
How did you get on these podcasts and radio shows?
I
He's intermittently taking notes now. How do you get on
What the
board?
fuck?
thing?
how do I
Come
do
on.
it? Yeah. I started out I was a very smart person who was almost done with an associate's degree and quit school to go work quit school to go work for free as an intern for a popular morning show in Atlanta.
So internship.
Yeah, I interned for free for maybe a year. I continued to intern after that, but after I was there for a year, I started to get into promotions work. And then because I was young and I didn't, have a job right after that I had to go to, I was getting in debt. I was paying my rent with my credit card, which was also very smart. I was, I would stick around the radio station and it was like hang out. And luckily I had a good enough personality where I wasn't like, this fucking bitch, get her out. Why is she here?
Is irritating.
Who is she?
Amber, that's Amber.
Who's the producer who's letting her stick
annoying.
around? So thankfully I was like cool enough to be around where they were like, you should work in the promotions department. And we're starting a competitive small alternative radio station for this other big alternative radio station in town. They were like taking over. They were the only alternative station. And so they needed just like a little bit of competition. And so they made this like real stupid group of people. It was all based like weed puns, where people's names were like Dank and,
Far out.
I can't remember everybody's name. Anyway, it was called The Buzz.
Okay.
Anyway.
Boom.
There you go.
Yeah. I had a name as an intern, which was Taffy Wilson, food and beverage coordinator.
I would be Schwag.
That's a good one. I think there might have been one.
There might have been a Schwag.
So I didn't have a funny name. I just was Taffy Wilson, and that was my radio. And so they just put me on from like, I don't know, midnight to 6. No.
Oh, wow. That's a long shift.
Oh, you don't really do it. It was from like 3 to 6 a.m. or something like that. You don't really
Taking
do
the
it.
Bigfoot calls.
You go in anytime, and you pre-record it.
Oh.
Yeah, easy peasy. A lot of radio that you hear is not happening IRL, which is sad.
Okay.
Which is a whole nother complicated issue that I don't know all the things about. I only know a little bit, but talk to somebody else. But I don't know that. But anyway, so it's I started doing that, and then I stopped doing that, and I went worked, and then I still stayed in touch with one of the main people, Eric Von Hessler, who was on the morning show, and we were still friends. We had become friends, and he started. They got fired because they did a radio stunt that fired, and so they had to get fired. And then,
can you say what it was?
Oh yeah, they talked to a porn star, and they were saying some really, really filthy things, and they were recording it during a commercial break. And what they were going to do was play it backwards over the air as like an FU to the FCC, because it was right after that Janet Jackson nipples thing. And so I guess they were really just playing with fire, right? Because they were recording her, they were going to play it backwards, and while they were recording it, they were doing it in the main studio, and it accidentally was going out over the air, like under a commercial that was playing.
Oh, over it. Gotcha.
Yeah. And
both
so
were playing at the same time.
Yeah. And then that was the first time they were fired. And that's when Eric and I, we were working on something together called Mad Pundit, and I was working with him, and we were being very creative and silly. And, then he got his job back, and then they did another radio stunt where they were recording someone in the bathroom, and then they got fired again. And then blah, 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 blah. They got onto another radio station. Eric and I have always just kept in touch and tried to have lunch every couple of months. And he was fired from his own show. So he had started this show with his buddy Larry.
He is just good from crawling back, isn't he?
Yeah, honestly,
Damn.
yeah.
Holy shit!
Because
you can't keep this guy down. He's like Rocky.
Yeah, because he produces.
Okay.
He does good work, and he's professional, and he's a good person, and
I enjoyed the show.
Yeah, thanks. So he got fired from his own show, which he started back in the early 90s with his partner Larry. His partner Larry is kind of a, maybe a great neighbor, but not a great person to work with. And made it so Eric was fired, and instead of distributing that money to others, he kept the money. You know what I mean? While other people were getting pay degrades, pay losses, they were being paid a certain amount and then asked to be paid less because they weren't making enough money for the show. He took that instead. And it was troubling. Anyway, some troubling things were happening. Eric was fired from that show. Eric wanted to start his own podcast, something like this, except it was in a basement, not in an attic.
Yep.
Right? Starting from the top.
Distinguish yourself. Be completely different.
Basements are beneath us.
Right.
That's
and
right.
so it almost kept him sharp. Right. First of all, Eric had never hosted. He was always I mean, he was
Part of a team.
He was part of a team. And I don't
Okay.
think he was ever really the one to take the reins of the entire show. That was Larry's position. And so when it was his turn to do that, he wasn't really, he didn't have the muscle for that. And so that's what our year and a half or so in the basement was doing for him. We didn't know that we would get asked to be on WSB, but then we were, because we stuck around. He, thankfully he didn't take that year and a half off and just like cry in his basement and then have to go and like do a show and not have, the muscle to do that. He had kept it going like Rocky. So
Like Rocky.
yeah. So, yeah. And then, it was successful on Sundays. It was like the highest rated, show on Sundays. And then they moved us to 1 hour a day during the week. And then,
Is that tough to do, an hour a day? Because we only do like one show a week.
oh, it felt like a job.
And it's
Yeah.
torture.
Yeah. You just go to a job.
Horrible.
Yeah. It was no big deal. It didn't feel like enough, really. I mean, especially on the air because there are commercials. So really that's like
You only get like a
35
half an hour.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of commercials that go on between segments in the show.
Yeah.
So
And so you really
it's
felt
only
like
about half the
you
time.
couldn't even get into a topic before it was
Okay.
like over, but that was, people. So I think it was ratings wise, the ratings were down for the show in front of us and then would climb up when it was our hour. So people were tuning in specifically to hear us. It wasn't like we were getting some like leftovers from the person in front of us. It was like people were tuning in to listen to us, which was a big deal for people who don't know his name. They just look at numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the people at the radio station who aren't just like part of our team or our fan, because I feel like our program director is a fan of us and really lets us do weird things on a station that like does not do weird things.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah. And so then that moved us to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then maybe 2018 will be even better.
All right. I thought it was 2018. I guess.
I know you did. But really, if anybody is interested in getting into something like this, starting your own podcast is definitely a way to do it. Starting small. And really, if you want to work like in radio, if you want to try and get it like more legit, then you got to you got to show your face, work for free, be available, and be cool.